What's up, you guys? Scott here. So I get asked this all the time. What books do I have and what books would I recommend if you're interested in growing a business, making money, your wealth, your success, and overall happiness? So what I want to do in this video is give you my 6 favorite books that I've read several times that I highly recommend that if you're interested in growing the business, making money, and being successful and also wealthy, I recommend that you purchase these books, start to read them. So what I'm going to do a little bit different in this video as well, I'll show you all the 6 books, but I'll quickly read on the back of the book what it is about, and then you can make an informed decision if this book's going to be right for your circumstances. So without further ado, let's dive in. Not in any order, let's start with my first recommendation, which is Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less by Greg McKeown. So what this book is about is, have you ever found yourself stretched too thin at home or at work? Have you ever felt both overworked and underutilized? Do you ever feel busy but not productive? Do you ever feel like you're constantly in motion but never get anywhere? If you answered yes to any of these, the way out is to become an essentialist. So realistically, this book, you can take it into the frame as a business, but also think about your personal life as well. So if you're finding not only your business is chaotic, but also your personal life is chaotic, highly recommend reading this book. So that's Essentialism by Greg McKeown. My next recommendation, probably what a lot of you guys have never heard of before, because it's really not a well-known book, is a book called Obliquity by John Kay. So why our goals are best achieved indirectly. So it may feel paradoxical, but in many spheres of life, from business to politics, sports to science, and even parenting, our goals are best achieved when we approach them indirectly instead of directly, guys. This is the concept of obliquity. So this is a very fascinating book. If you're finding the old methods of goal setting and trying to reach your goals just isn't really working for you, I know for myself, when I always went for my goals directly, I'd always burn out and I wouldn't achieve what I wanted to. This is a very fascinating book to give you a new frame on your goals and how to start looking at achieving your goals, not in a very straightforward line, but achieving goals that attach to the main goals along the way. So I highly recommend this book. That's Obliquity by John Kay. So my next recommendation on the list is Sam Walton, Made in America. So for those who don't know who Sam Walton is the owner and creator of Walmart. So here's an extraordinary success story about a man whose empire was built not on smoke and mirrors, but with good old-fashioned elbow grease. And the reason I love this book because it shows not only Sam Walton's tenacity to build a business from absolute scratch, but how to view business in a very paradoxical way compared to his competition and compared to what everybody else is doing. So this is really a book about action taking, and you'll be able to follow Sam Walton's story from start all the way to finish and how he grew Walmart from scratch. So a very interesting story. So that's Sam Walton's Made in America. Highly recommend this book. So the next book I recommend is Cal Newport's Deep Work. So deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitive demanding task. Coined by the author on his popular blog, Study Hacks, deep work will make you better at what you do, let you achieve more in less time, and provide the sense of true fulfillment that comes from the mastery of a skill. In short, deep work is like a superpower in an increasingly competitive economy. So Business Book 101. So if you're finding yourself overworked, swamped with too many tasks, and it really feels like you can't concentrate on what you need to be doing for your business, highly recommend this. And I highly recommend adopting his philosophies about deep work. He's basically breaking down how our concentration and our focus will either make us successful or essentially make us broke. So I highly recommend this book. So that's Deep Work by Cal Newport, the rules for focused success in a distracted world, especially when it comes to social media, guys, especially when it comes to YouTube and falling into the rabbit hole of following YouTube channels and email lists and gurus and Facebook. This is one surefire way to get out of being distracted and get some work done. Okay, so that's Deep Work by Cal Newport. My next recommendation on the list, and unfortunately I do not have the dust jacket for this book, is the Blue Ocean Strategy. So I'm just going to open up to a specific page right at the start and give you an example of what this book's about. So Help My Ocean is Turning Red captures the sensation echoed so frequently by managers around the world. More and more people, whether managers of companies, heads of nonprofit, or leaders of government, find themselves against an ocean of bloody competition and want to get out. So this is really a book that helped me not only define my niche, but help thousands of my students to find their niche as well, and shows you the impact and how important niching your business is in a very oversaturated and a very over-competitive market, especially in therapy and coaching. So I highly recommend this. It is a bit of a slow burn. Okay, some of the strategies in there are a little bit abstract and don't give you a lot of sense of how to apply it. So when you go into this book, look at this as the lens of how can I take my niche from where it is and turn it into a blue ocean niche? How can I get out of being in a red ocean that's full of competition, full of the same things, the same product, the same service, the same offer, and how can I stand out in my competition? What I do like about this book, however, it gives you plenty of examples of actual companies that have actually done this. But to make this even easier, I'm going to leave a couple of videos below where I talk about how to take what can be a little bit of an abstract strategy with the blue ocean strategy and apply it in the real world in your coaching and therapy business. I've done a lot of videos on that and I've applied it extremely successful in my own company. So go pick up this one. So that's the blue ocean strategy. You've probably heard of this one before. Highly recommend go check this one out. My next book, and I highly recommend that you read this book. If there was one book that you could take away from this that I recommend you get first, it is this one right here. So it's Thinking in Systems by Donella H. Meadows. Now, you've probably never heard of this book, and I cannot recommend this enough. I've read this probably over a dozen times, and I can guarantee it's this book right here that turned my thinking that was abstract, anxious filled, scared, doubtful, no clue about how to run a business into a seven-figure company very, very quickly. If I was to give you my secret, it's this right here. Now, for a lot of people may have been expecting I'm going to, suggest reading books like The Secret or You're Badass at Making Money and all those books. And while I've read those books and I've read a lot of mindset books, to be very, very honest, I got absolutely nothing out of them. I found those books to be heavily bloated, heavily over-marketed and overhyped, but no real strategy in the real world. It maybe made you feel a little bit better, maybe had a few more positive thoughts, but I highly recommend this. And what this book, this business, this system allowed me to see is how I can get out of being highly emotional and highly abstract in my business and actually see it as a functioning system. So Thinking in System is a required reading for anyone hoping to run a successful company, community, or country. Learning how to think in systems is now part of change agent literacy, and this is the best book of its kind, okay? So it does talk a lot about politics. It'll talk about a lot about machines, and it's going to talk about a few abstract ideas. So you do want to come into this with a frame, and that frame is how can I apply what Donella is talking about here and apply it to my business? So again, I've done several videos on systems thinking and what I call my input, process, and output system. I'm going to leave a couple of links below. You can go check them out. I've taken some of the abstract ideas out of this book and I've applied it into the real world. Okay. I've done a lot of testing and a lot of things to make it applicable in the real world. As a coach or a therapist, check out those videos. It'll help you understand and consume this book a lot better. So one thing I should mention about all of these books is they're definitely not mindset books. They're not going to make you feel better. It's not about positive thinking. It's not about abstract ideas that have no real world application or proof that the ideas that are being taught actually exist and actually work. What I love about all of these books is the logical applicability of the strategies in the real world, especially in the context of making money, finding your niche, growing a therapy or a coaching business and everything in between, even into your marketing. Highly recommend all of these books and start to apply them. That's the 6 books I highly recommend. These are the 6 books that I always go back to. Now, I'm not a big reader, but I have read these books several times each, and I find I get a lot of strategies out of them. Even when I go back and reread them again, it invigorates my mind to see new strategies, see new systems, and see new things that I missed the first time reading these books. So let me go through them quickly again. Thinking in Systems, go check that one out. We also have Deep Work. Go check that one out. Sam Walton's Made in America. Highly recommend this one as well. Obliquity by John Kay. Go check that one out as well. I've got books all over the place here. The Blue Ocean Strategy Without the Dust Jacket, of course. Go check that one out. And lastly, if you get over distracted and you can't focus, Essentialism is going to help you. So it's a disciplined pursuit of less, which for any therapist or a coach is a great rule to live by. So guys, there we go. They're the 6 books I recommend. I'm going to leave some links below. You can go check those books out. I'll also leave some resource videos, like I mentioned before, of videos I've made applying the strategies in these books. So that's all from me for today. Make sure you like this video, share it with everybody you know. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.